Airports generate revenue through a combination of sources, including aeronautical and non-aeronautical activities. These revenue streams allow airports to cover operational costs, invest in infrastructure development, and generate profits. In this response, I will provide a brief overview of the various ways airports make money, including aeronautical revenues, non-aeronautical revenues, and other sources of income. Aeronautical revenues. Aeronautical revenues constitute a significant portion of an airport's income and are directly related to the core aviation operations. These revenues are primarily generated from airlines and aircraft operators. Key sources of aeronautical revenue include landing fees. Airports charge landing fees based on the weight of the aircraft. These fees cover the cost of runway and taxiway maintenance, airfield lighting, and other infrastructure related to aircraft operations. Terminal fees. Airports may charge terminal fees to airlines for using passenger terminals, departure gates, and related facilities. These fees contribute to the maintenance and operation of the passenger terminal and associated amenities. Parking fees. Airports often provide parking facilities for aircraft, which generate revenue through parking fees. The fees depend on factors such as aircraft size, duration of parking, and other related services provided to aircraft operators. Ground handling charges. Airports may offer ground handling services, including baggage handling, fueling, and aircraft servicing. They charge fees for these services, which contribute to aeronautical revenue. Passenger facility charges, PFC. Airports, with approval from regulatory authorities, can collect PFCs from passengers. These charges are typically included in airline ticket prices and are used to fund airport infrastructure projects and improvements. Non-aeronautical revenues. Non-aeronautical revenues are derived from commercial activities that take place within the airport premises, beyond aviation-related operations. These revenues are an essential part of an airport's diversified income stream. Key sources of non-aeronautical revenue include retail and duty-free. Airports have various retail outlets, including shops, restaurants, duty-free stores, and convenience stores. These businesses pay rent and/or percentage of their revenue to the airport. Duty-free stores are particularly lucrative as they offer tax-free shopping to passengers. Car rentals. Airports often have car rental companies operating within their premises. These companies pay fees or a percentage of their revenue to the airport in exchange for the right to operate on-site. Advertising. Airports offer advertising space within their terminals, on billboards, digital screens, and other areas with high passenger visibility. Advertisers pay for these placements, generating additional revenue. Concessions. Airports grant concessions for services such as currency exchange, banking, travel agencies, lounges, and spas. These concessionaires pay rent or a percentage of their revenue to the airport. Real estate. Airports may lease land or buildings for office spaces, hotels, warehouses, or other commercial purposes. These leases generate rental income for the airport. Parking and ground transportation. Airports charge parking fees for vehicles parked on-site, including short-term and long-term parking options. Additionally, airports may receive a share of revenue from ground transportation services like taxis, ride-sharing companies, and shuttle services. Utilities and services. Airports may provide utilities such as electricity, water, and waste management to tenants and businesses operating within their premises. These services can generate additional revenue. Other sources of income. Apart from aeronautical and non-aeronautical revenues, airports may have other sources of income that contribute to their financial viability. These sources can include real estate development. Airports sometimes engage in real estate development projects on their property, such as building hotels, conference centers, commercial complexes, or logistics facilities. The revenue from these ventures adds to the airport's income. Government funding. Airports may receive government grants, subsidies, or loans for infrastructure development, especially for expansion projects or upgrades. These funds contribute to the airport's financial resources. Airport services fees. Airports may charge fees to general aviation aircraft, charter flights, or private jets for using their facilities. These fees can include landing fees, parking fees, and other charges. Investments and financial instruments. Airports may invest their surplus funds in financial instruments, such as bonds, stocks, or other assets, to generate additional income. Ancillary services. Airports can offer a range of additional services, including conference facilities, training centers, cargo handling, aircraft maintenance, and catering. These services can generate supplementary revenue. It's important to note that the revenue mix and the specific sources of income can vary depending on the size, location, and business model of the airport. Large international airports with significant passenger traffic often have a more diverse revenue portfolio compared to smaller regional airports. In conclusion, airports generate revenue through a combination of aeronautical and non-aeronautical activities. Aeronautical revenues are derived from charges imposed on airlines and aircraft operators for using airport facilities and services. Non-aeronautical revenues come from commercial activities within the airport premises, such as retail, car rentals, advertising, and concessions. Additionally, airports may have other sources of income, including real estate development, government funding, airport service fees, investments, and ancillary services. This diverse revenue stream allows airports to cover their costs, invest in infrastructure, and generate profits to sustain their operations.